once again, another episode of Strength in Silence podcast with the Nickies.
Yes. Nikki squared.
Nikki squared. We have, oh, wait, this is crooked. You know my OCD. Okay. Shout out to Dee and Linda. They're not joining us today. They are also, the Nickies are holding it down. And we got one from the home team with us today. T Murray, what's up, my friend?
Hey, what's going on with you, man? Y'all already know what it is.
Yeah.
Same old. They kind
Friend and brother.
Yeah.
Friend and brother. In light of it being June being Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, as we promised everybody, all 5 of our episodes are focused on our brothers, on our men, uplifting you guys, supporting you, talking about men's mental health. And obviously it is June, which is Father's Day month.
for sure.
So we wanted to make sure that we give equal light to the fathers as the same as we do to mothers and Mother's Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because without a father, there would not be us, right?
Yeah.
There wouldn't even be any mothers and vice versa. And so we're trying to change the narrative that Black men and Black women hate each other. That's a lie.
Yeah.
There is so much love out there, but that's not being promoted. So we are trying to in the division,
Yeah.
right? And show our brothers that we support them,
Mhm.
that we love them, and that we are here for them.
Yeah. We need y'all.
Right? Your voices are important.
Mhm.
And so Strength in Silence, we know that a lot of men, this society
Mhm.
has told y'all to suck it up and man up and be a man.
Right. Men don't cry.
Right, but that's a lie. I've said it before. I'm absolutely petrified of a man that can't cry because he's either going to implode and hurt himself or he's going to explode and hurt others. So emotions are important for men as well. Would you agree?
Nah, that's big facts right there.
Okay.
Big facts.
So thank you for agreeing to meet with us.
Hey, thank y'all for bringing me out to y'all platform. Before we really dig in deep and get started, I just want to give a shout out to y'all, you feel me, for giving a platform to females, but still reaching back to us, man.
That's what's up.
Yes.
That's what's up. All right, let's get in.
Let's do it.
So let's start with, our podcast is for the strong friend. That's what we're centered around. So for you, and for your opinion, in your words, what is it to be the strong friend? What does that look like for you? How do you show up as that strong friend?
Man, just wherever your friend needs you at, wherever you meet them, man.
Mm-hmm.
If they need you financially, spiritually, if they need you to just shoulder the crown, if they need you to be like, hey, don't do that.
Right.
If you need to be there to be, hey, it's gonna be all right.
Right.
I am here. You can't talk to me. You can't call me. You can't push up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not just to hang out and smoke reefer and get section and get into dumb shit.
Uh-huh. For women, I feel like we always are like, you can talk to me. This is a safe space. You can tell me, I'm here for you. You can trust me. For men, and going into like the mental health aspect, how do men show up for each other? Like, how do you let your friend know, like, this is a safe space? You can talk to me.
You know, it's hard for men to do that. But the ones who are locked in like that, and I tend to believe I'm one of those. And it took me a long time to get that point because as men, you don't get in another man's business. He having a bad day, just let bruh be. But if that's your friend for real, now you supposed to check in on him. And I'm gonna need somebody to check in on me when I'm over in the corner looking crazy, look like I'm about to lose my top.
I remember being at the podcast sometimes and you were kind of chilled out and quiet in the corner. And I'd be like, T, you all right? You good? Just to check on, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because you never know what somebody may have on their heart and their mind. You know what I'm saying? Especially the ones that seem to always be up. You know what I mean? And always having everybody else up.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that you really need to check on, I think, the most. You know what I mean? Or if you see your homeboy acting out of character, if he is uncharacteristically quiet or withdrawn, that would be the time to tap in and, see if he's okay and let him know that you're there to support.
Yep.
No, that's big fact. This time I done certain people in life, I just kept poking until it down there went to fist.
Yeah.
Or at time I done got hit in my shit and yeah, okay, that's cool, bro. You done put what's wrong? And then my homie break down and man, spill his heart out. I don't know. I don't even know this shit happening to him, man. He going through this. We almost together day for day.
Because men aren't told to share like that. That's female stuff. That's what they say. Have
Yeah,
you ever have you ever felt pressure to have it all together for everybody else?
every day, every week, month, second, year. You know what I'm saying? Coming from a single parent mother home, but also having my other parents in my life and being the oldest on both sides is just that alone was pressure that I put on myself. Then I went and made my own family. That's pressure in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Then what goals I'm trying to accomplish in my personal life. That's pressure on itself. So it's every day.
Then being a neighborhood dad.
Neighborhood dad too. Yeah, like believe it or not, I just said something in a recent song I recorded up here in Atlanta where I was like, I sometimes I help so much I make my own kids jealous.
Wow.
I've heard that with like preachers' children,
Mm.
right? The pastor's kids, that the pastor was so busy being there for everybody else in the church and everybody else's family and kids that their kids kind of felt resentful.
Wow.
It's like, damn, I'm watching you give these kids this, that, and that. You could have put that money with the money you already putting on us, and we could have got some extra shit.
So how do you navigate that though, when your kids feel, set aside?
You just for one gotta just stand on what you believe in the teaching for one, which is super hard. You can't press them like how like they say you can't how your parents was raised. They can't raise you like that. How your parents raised you. You take what you need out of them instruction books and you apply it to what you got going on. So it really just be that, just sticking to it and just really showing them, like really taking them outside, going around. My daughter's done happened to one of them, my high schooler happened to be with Nikki and D when they was doing the little fundraiser thing or the volunteer thing they was doing. People who are we know are work around who work in mental facilities or work in jails. And again, just everyday life, we going to the store to get snacks. But yeah, look what's going on.
Mhm.
Because you
So
can't hide
including.
from them. It's out here. They watching it on their phone anyway, so you might as well navigate it
Yeah.
the best you can.
Yeah. I think like with us growing up, mental health wasn't really like our feelings as kids,
Taboo.
our
Taboo.
mental health, like that wasn't really like focused on with us when we were growing up. Like our parents didn't ask us like, How do you feel? How does this make you feel? Are you okay?" And at least for me, that didn't happen. For you, do you do anything with your kids to check on their mental health? Do you like sit down and talk to them? Is there something that like you try to break when you were growing up to do differently for your kids?
Definitely communication.
Mhm.
Definitely I try and it's still a work in progress, but I try my best to always even let them know that door open. Like I don't care what's going on, what it is. I want you to have other safe spaces too, because I just had a recent incident with my daughter where she went to that space first. And as a father, as a parent, it made me feel away, but at the same time, I was glad I was there. But like I said, I just more try to press like, hey, I don't care what it is. Like, you got to know you can talk to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's interesting because in our home, growing up, I had a stepfather, right? And we called family forums when we wanted to talk about things. My mother kind of taught me to question everything, even her, as long as I did it respectfully.
Right.
And
Yeah,
so I did that with my children as well. And people, especially when we got down here, people were like, "What? You ask your children?" Like
Yeah.
if they something was wrong in the house, anybody, one of the kids, me, whatever, could call a family forum and we would sit down and talk about it. And people like, "You gave your kids a choice?" Yes. You know why? Because I felt muted as a child when I wasn't given a choice. Now, don't get it twisted. There were some things my mother was like, "This is it.
Yeah.
Shut up. Bye."
yeah,
All that. Listen, I used to get slapped in the mouth so much that she moved her hand at dinner and I'm flinching, you know what I'm saying? Because this mouth has always been this mouth. But at least that part she gave us. And I did that with my children as well. And a lot of people looked at me like, no, they don't get no choice. And I think that's how we were raised. A lot of folks were raised. And yeah, so I think that's important also for them to have other outlets too that they can go to, but to know that you're going to be their best advocate
for sure.
at the end of the day.
Most definitely. And just while we on the subject of mental health, like you said, in our time and our come up, that was almost was taboo until it hit. It hit me when like they say, when it hit, it don't mean nothing to you till it hit home.
Mhm.
And it definitely hit home for me in a couple of ways. For one, with my own brothers going through mental health problems, still fighting that to this day. Watch friends that I done seen go skits and or so called lose their mind
Mhm.
or have these different disorders. Like I really started in real life in real time for over the last 20 years, really seeing how fucked up as a black culture and how fucked up our mental health is.
Yeah. How do you teach your boys about being vulnerable and like emotionally intelligent and or even not just your boys, but maybe the boys in the neighborhood too also? Like what do you do and how do you teach them how they can, handle their mental health and open up?
Just for one, knowing that just how to conduct and handle themselves and know when they don't have something under control. Because sometimes you can almost feel when you don't got it under control before you even start talking.
Right.
That's when you need to go find somebody. We ain't gonna make the excuse yeah, we know we got single mother homes, but that's why you got people like me. That's why you got uncles in your family. You got big brothers. You got the smart people at school who you need to be hanging around and talking to. Like you gotta give yourself them lanes.
Choices.
Yeah.
Making good choices.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
No, in fact, it's really solely, almost solely based on it.
Mm-hmm. And it starts so young. Like I saw this lady the other day in the store, her son fell and was crying, and she was yelling at the boy because he was crying. And she's like, I hate a crying ass little boy. And I'm like, but he just fell. He hurt himself.
Right.
Like it starts so young, these things that you say, and like you're putting this in this 4 year old's brain, like, dang, I can't even fall and get hurt and cry. Like I gotta stuck it up.
Right.
But that go to show you too how much, even though they say these days, like our new young generation, the YNs, like they like to call them, they most sensitive and soft and feminine because they growing up in single parent, single mother homes. But at the same time, they see the mothers seeing too, like
Yeah.
they need to be tough. That's why they on. That's why they sending them out there to the football field. That's why they just sending them in the street early. That's why
Yeah.
when they fall in the store, get your ass up, shut up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. And I think a lot of single moms, I know for me, having a son and being a single mom and young single mom, it's like they try to teach you to play both parts.
Yes.
Like, oh, but you got to be hard on him.
Yes.
You got to be a man. So it's like, well,
The
what
same
would a man
way,
say?
the same way a mother could be father like, but the
Hmm.
same way how a mother can't be a father, and it's the vice versa. Because I had to go through it with my kids. My first
Yes.
three, I could be their daddy all day, but they need their mama.
Yes.
I can't nurture them like their mama could nurture them.
Right. And that's the important part too that I was going to clue in on. A lot of times, like you hear the blame, oh, these boys have been raised in single parent households. But what they fail to realize, single just means they weren't married. It doesn't mean their
Yeah,
father wasn't involved.
yeah,
Some of them had fathers that were involved. Some of them had sorry ass fathers that were involved. But it's all placed on, oh, single women, single, parent households and these women. So then it's like, yeah, you're not tough enough. If he fall down, like I've been on the football field when Jay was coaching on the sideline, and I wanted to cry sometimes the way that the coaches talk to the boys. And I'm like, why y'all talk to them like they cuss at them and all types of stuff? Oh, they boys, they'll shake it off there. But me
but
being,
I'm gonna tell you something funny about
I
that.
know,
When I played sports though, just me personally, those the coaches I run through a brick wall for.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It just
It's
hurt
just
my
something
soul.
that they was with some boys. It's just something about because remember what they going home to after practice. Mom in apartments,
Mhm,
auntie them in apartments, or I'm the only boy and I got three sisters and my mom in apartments.
mhm.
So some young men when they get that on the football field, subconsciously that's I had to realize that later on in life, that's that male figure, that's that father figure that you need in your life, getting in your spirit.
Yeah. That way, because especially when they get hurt, and I'm like trying to run out there, they're like, "Mom, sit down."
Right.
I'm ready to run out
They're
there.
gonna be fine. Or one thing that Jaden used to say, ain't nothing hurt, but it's what was it? Ain't nothing hurt, but their feelings.
Mhm.
They'll be all right. And then you know what? I'll be mad and upset, but next thing I know, that boy done got up, shook it off, and wanted to get back out there. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I was at one of Lucas's basketball games and he got in trouble. He was doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing. The coach sat him down and Lucas was so mad. The coach was yelling at him. I wanted to go over there so bad. 2 seconds later, Lucas was fine. He's sitting there
Right,
laughing, ready to get back in there. I was like, if it would have been me, we
right,
would
right,
have had a problem for the rest of the
right. I'm
night.
about to chop the coach in the throat.
Uh-huh. So you respond well to that from him.
Yeah, but they don't like it coming from you. Like
No.
if you're yelling at them, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because of the roles, like because they assume the mama, the woman is supposed to be soft and nurturing,
Yeah,
and the daddy's supposed to be that, authoritarian, and so maybe they don't accept it as
Right.
well coming from the mama.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's very delicate balance. And they got all kind of books and stuff, but that doesn't really teach you how to parent a child because every child is
it
different.
ain't no instruct. Hey, look here, I tell people, I just finished saying this last week. I promise you, ain't no instruction manual to this shit, man.
Not at all.
Right.
Our mama them ain't had no manual. They mama ain't had no man. We learning on the go.
That's it. That's a fact.
Yeah.
On the
We
fly.
just taking what we came up in and the information we got. Like I said earlier, you just putting your swag on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I know you have your podcast, you're a rapper, you're doing all your entrepreneur stuff. So how do you handle the balance, like your mental health? Like how do you handle that with being a neighborhood dad, being a dad to your own kids, and then, being you and having everything you have to. And then as a man, being a provider, how do you handle the mental demands of that?
I'm not gonna lie to you, like it could be stressful. It could definitely weigh on you. But what I had to learn from just a prior situation I went through, I'm gonna say end of 23, going into 24, and kind of getting back to myself, kind of sort of. I say in 25, like just keep doing it because that's what keep me going. That's what keep my mental health
Keep going.
in the right place. Even when the shit frustrated me, even when it seemed like I be sitting in. Well, I promise you, it's like I'm talking to a brick wall. I'm gonna just say fuck this shit. I say that shit every other couple hours, but I just know I gotta keep going. Who else would do it?
do it, who does it.
Who else gonna
T,
do it?
T, who is your support? Like when you get overwhelmed or when, do you have a specific friend that you go to that you can like, bounce things of or, release?
I do, and my one of my closest friend, best friend, my brother, DB, who like I done said in a lot of interviews, the person who brought me around the music and entertainment industry. But outside of that, I ain't gonna lie to you. And my sister done told me this before in life, and I got offended by it at first until I looked at it, from a different angle. I be so much on the island and have been on the island for so long. That's how I usually deal with shit and cope with shit. But like I said, in that 23, 24 dark time, I ain't gonna lie, the whole Intervision Studios was that. Y'all was that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out Uncle Wood. Like just the Orlando community I built end up being that for me
Yeah,
during one of them times.
that's what's up.
Mhm.
That's
And
what's
I'm
up.
super grateful for that.
Yeah.
Cause I promise you I was on some other shit.
Yeah.
I
And
was
it's
on
crazy
some
because
other
you would never know. You come in the studio, you have your bottle, your T Murray tequila margarita you be making, and you just be chilling. Nobody would ever know.
and then hours after that, yeah, a
The
lot
real spill.
lot of long nights, lonely nights, long days. Then
Mm-hmm.
I had the little triple grind at one point, so it's time I'm 2 hours barely.
Yeah. Sleep is important
Yeah.
too. That's another thing I think we
But
don't realize.
you know what a lot of men do though? Why they do that? Why they run on that hamster wheel? Because they don't want time to sit down for it to soak in.
Mm.
Yeah, that idle time.
Just keep
Yeah,
moving and I don't have to think about all the shit
yeah,
that's sitting on my back end.
exactly.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
makes sense. A lot of people don't want to sit with themselves.
No, at all.
Believe it or not, a lot of people don't like themselves.
Mhm.
And so they fear that time alone reflecting
Yeah.
because that reflecting is
Mhm.
I got to look at my demons and I got to look at my shadows and
Yeah.
work this shit out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And
sleep is important.
the thing I learned in this life, if you can't do that, you know what they say, a coward dies 1,000 deaths, a soldier only dies once.
Yeah. I think that was the hardest part of me being alone, is sit with myself, because that was just me.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And I'm like, am I gonna like myself?
Right, right. And that's key. If you don't
Mhm.
like yourself, if you don't love yourself, how can you expect anybody else to? Because
yeah,
that's what you put off.
Yeah.
Your actions. People fail to realize that when they speak to themselves internally, because that internal voice is loud. And when you speak to yourself internally, all the billions of your cells are listening to what you say about yourself. So I don't care what face you put on.
Right.
yeah,
Those cells still remember the conversation that you had.
Mhm.
Oh, you ain't good enough. All this shit ain't gonna work. They ain't gonna like you. So you're gonna carry yourself in that awkward kind of space or that
exactly.
off-putting space. That's the vibe you're gonna put out.
Yeah.
So it becomes a confirmation bias of sorts.
Mhm.
You thought that way, you act that way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I ain't gonna lie to you, and that's why I tell people too, that's what be fucking up a lot of people in relationships. I just finished telling my son, just with his situation and him just asking me for advice. Like, you can't be true to you gotta be true to yourself before you can be true to anybody else.
That's a fact.
That's just what it is.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
And that go both ways, men and women. You can't be true to nobody, you can't be true to yourself.
Yeah. I know you have like a keep going mentality, but like when you start feeling burned out, what do you do? Like when you see them signs of you feeling burned out, what do you start doing?
Really now, just in hindsight, learning more about myself, and just going through stuff. I just try to just basically break break the truck down. Okay, we gotta get down. Let me go ahead. You know what? Let me just sit down for a minute. Okay, today I might just have to let today be the day. Just whatever for the fail and fall, it just gotta be that. But I just gotta sit down, let it be
I
that.
need them days.
Yeah.
That's hard to do for people like us.
Mm-hmm.
No, for real, for real. But it's just it's a unnecessary. It's a what's the word I'm looking for?
Necessary
It's a
evil.
necessary evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's hard.
It has to be
You
done.
perfectionist.
You'll drive yourself crazy.
Yes. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Literally trying to keep all those balls in the air and balanced at the
Yes.
same time.
I don't watch my mama, my strong friends, or strong people on it drive themselves crazy, just trying to keep on. No, sometimes you just gonna have to, yeah,
Let it go, let some stuff fall.
Mm-hmm.
it's just gonna have to be. Well, he can't
Realize
get
you're
out
not
here
home.
without no car, and I just have to. They gonna take the car. They gotta take that motherfucker. They just gonna have to take it. We're gonna have to go from there.
Yeah.
You
And
can't keep
sometimes
saving the world, even your own.
that's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes we have to realize
And
too,
that's a hard pill to swallow. That's a
yes,
hard pill to
we
eat.
can't do it all. We can't save it all.
No.
You can't. I don't care what you do, and you can have $1 trillion.
Right. Hmm.
Yeah.
It's just some things you're not gonna have your hand on or no control over.
Control.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
the key for folks like us
Yes.
to just let go.
It's so hard to let go.
Big facts.
I think Nikki and I are a lot alike in that respect. We feel like if we don't do it, it's either not going to get done or it's not going to get done well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And so sometimes we do have to just release
Mm-hmm.
and let stuff be what it's going to be. But that is hard.
Yeah.
And it drives you
Look at
nuts
me,
when something ain't perfect.
I'm telling my, hey, look now, don't ever thinking anytime you gotta make a decision out of desperation, but like you got somewhere to go now. You got somewhere to go, and then I don't want to push up. Like you gotta. I can't go drag them in and make them come in the house. You just gotta, you gotta let it be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you force it, it
Well,
might
T
not.
Murray, you know how much that shit costs. You know how much that shit costs over there, T Murray. What if they can't keep it up? Shit, we gonna see. We gonna see and go from there.
You let you know,
I told you come back to the house.
period.
Yeah.
No pressure. The invite was there.
Yeah.
Failure is, it shows you what not to do. And I think that's what's crazy. People, we're so afraid of failing, but failing is part of the process.
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of people don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan, they told him to go do something else, not basketball.
Right.
Right? What if he would have listened to them?
But
He got kicked off the team.
Mm-hmm.
What if he would have listened?
Yeah.
Right? But he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So as many times as you fail, that is you perfecting whatever that craft is and
Right.
getting better at it. It's part of the process. That's how you learn.
Yeah. I remember talking to T. Murray about my fitness, doing stuff in the fitness thing. And he was like, what are you scared of? And I was like, well, what if I can't? He was like, you're the only one who think you can't.
Oh, and I
Right. And I was like, yeah. He would stay on my ass and go do it.
let's talk about it. Because
Mhm.
when I had my idea for the podcast,
come on,
he was like,
let's
hey, keep that name to yourself,
Uh-huh.
but do that. We need more authenticity. We need people out here talking about real shit. And then I'm still working on those, but
Right.
on the side. But then Nikki pops up and was like, hey, you want to be a part of our podcast? I'm like, yes. Because I literally just saw something that said, say yes to everything. And boom, look where we are 6 months later.
Yeah.
see how that shit work, man. Like I'm one thing about me, man. I'm gonna just what y'all know my motto. Like why not? Why if I know this, I see this person over here, this person over. I'm a facilitator. I'm gonna put it together like leather every time.
Mm-hmm.
And it works out.
Shout out to my new videographer, man. Ben Marvin. Man, when I tell you, me and her been going crazy right now, and I just introduced her to my man John Boy Mix, that interview out right now, season second episode, season 3. Soon as I met both of them separately, but when I met them, I was like, yeah, I gotta put these two
Put them
together.
together.
The moment I did it, it just
Boom. Meant to be.
out of the way.
Yeah.
Look at you being a powerful facilitator and things.
That too. That too.
Bringing people together.
But
So
y'all,
are
I did and still do this shit for free. I just loved it. I just had to realize that, okay, well, I'm doing this. What you doing? I had to I had to realize what to do with it.
Yeah, you're good at that. Since June is Men Mental Health Awareness Month, why do you think, in your opinion, why do you think a lot of like our men, like our brown and black men, why do you think that it's something with therapy? Like they don't want to, they don't want to do therapy like at all.
Because one, it just is so much of not a trust for nothing and nobody. Just
Hmm.
in general, shit. I'm in a household where hell, I can't damn near trust my own mom and daddy. So why I'm gonna trust this person to go talk to him about anything?
Hmm.
A lot of black and brown, we outside, we boots to the ground in the streets for real. You just that alone, I feel like I'm incriminating myself by talking.
Yeah.
Though I am not talking to you.
Hmm. Right. Do you think it's also like understanding?
And another one, and another one that I done seen just from my view, shit, we just a lot of us don't even know how to talk at all.
Mhm.
For real.
That man. You said something right there. You said something. Do you think it's an understanding thing too? Like they don't think that person is going to understand them at all, like what they're going through, and can offer any advice to help them?
It just feel weak for a man in general. Like, why am I coming to talk to this stranger
Mm.
motherfucker about? Okay, when I was uh, and why I need to be. Then you come out and tell your folks, so they find you really went to them folks.
Right.
Yeah.
You really
Right.
want to tell them folks your business.
Hmm.
Then that's making you feel weak.
Mm.
Yeah. Hmm.
So personally, how do you feel about seeking therapy, or if not going to a therapist per se, um, maybe being involved in a group with other strong men?
You already took the words out of my mouth because that's really the thing to do. I never, I've a little bit in the last, I want to say, year and a half. I went to some therapy like 10 years ago, 10 or 12 years ago too. But it was just brief sessions. And it wasn't all bad. You know what I'm saying? It was cool. But me personally, I've just learned myself how to, like you said, get around them certain men or just group of people anywhere where you can have therapy. It don't necessarily got to be with a therapist, but we all in some form, fashion need therapy.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Like I say, you ain't got to go to the building and go to church. Church.
True.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Let me ask you this, because of the stigma around therapy and, Black and brown men specifically seeking therapy, have you ever lost a friend or a brother who was silently struggling, um, but they, ended their life because they didn't feel like they had support or could talk to anybody?
I do know of it, and I just can't think of it off the top of my head, but I do know of somebody who I grew up with that took their life, and nobody knew like they was going through whatever they was going through.
Mhm. That's hard to hear too.
Hmm. Yeah.
Especially most of the time when they look back, be like, "Oh, that was a good dude.
Right.
Like he was always looking out for
Yeah.
everybody, or you know what I mean?"
The ones where you're like, I didn't even know he was going through it. And he was
Or
so happy all the time.
or it was situations where somebody I knew who was that person y'all speaking of, but they went through mental health problems that had them on the streets and stuff like that, and then they just died abruptly.
Mhm.
Mm, mm.
Is there anything that you do for like self-therapy? Like I know you rap, so that's probably an outlet for you. Is there anything else that you do?
Definitely just listen, just music. Period. Like music always been therapy for me. So sometimes it might be just going back to a song, whether it's past, present, or right now. Going to a song that might just lighten my mood or wake me up at it if I need a wake up. Definitely as of recently walking, as of recently taking walks in country ass woods out here. That's
Good though,
definitely
nature.
yeah, that's definitely been a vibe for sure. Driving for me always meant therapy too.
Yes.
Something I just love. Like it's plenty of times I done hit I-4 and drove in circles for 2-3 hours.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Just getting your mind right.
Yeah, you
So
just
if
gotta
you're
you gotta have that outlet. You gotta have sun. I don't care what it is.
Mhm. Yeah. If your younger self could see you now, or if you can tell your younger self something, what would it be that you know now?
Think, just think,
Mhm.
just like for real, just think.
Yeah.
I must have knew y'all was gonna ask me this because I just said I was just talking about that question too a couple of days ago, and that's how I said I would answer it. Just think, like, real deal. Just think. When shit bad, move and just think. Just sit down and think.
Let me ask you this, T.
I could
What
have
advi-
avoided a lot of shit. Go ahead.
what advice would you give another man that is resistant to going to any kind of therapy and kind of wants to, work things out themselves and in silence? What kind of advice would you give them?
Like I just said a few minutes ago, you gotta find your therapy, whatever that is. Like find your therapy. It might not be going into a office and talking to a psychiatrist. It might be you need to let some things go. It might be something you need to add to what you already doing. It might which exercise is a great one. You might need to do that. A lot of people don't know how much exercise could really fix your mental health.
Yes. Yes. How do you feel about medication?
I don't fuck with the medication. And honestly, not self medicating either for somebody who did it. It don't help. If niggas remember all the Tupac fans, I forget what song it is, yeah, that Hennessy don't help. That Hennessy don't help. Boy,
Let's see.
that that old Terrawana don't help. It's a good time, man. It's a good time, but it don't help. That shit gonna be right there when you wake up in the morning.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And I think a lot of us practice with that
Yes. Oh
self-medication,
yeah.
escapism, and
And then
sometimes it just compounds it.
I seen firsthand through my brothers. Shout out to them, to the twins. Just had a birthday June 1st. Like seeing them be medicated by a facility, what that shit do. I don't really too much rock with it. I understand at points where it just is what it is happen, but I feel a lot of that shit could be worked out a different way. Because I don't watch and not just with my brothers, like other people who I know who done been in the facility got medicated. Like shit, niggas in prison, the women in prison. You feel me? When they putting that shit in you, like that shit turn you into a vegetable, basically down there. I done seen real time how that shit. It seemed like that shit sucked the life out of people.
I think it's different depending on what setting you're in, right? Because in those settings, I think they are dosing to control when it's forced. I'll just say for
Yeah.
me, and I've been very
So,
vocal, about my mental health this year. I was able to choose my doctor or my provider and choose with that provider, what dosages I wanted and how we moved it up or moved it down or changed here and changed there. But you hit on something that's key in those instances in facilities and in prison and in jail when they're forcing. I think they are dosing to control, not to rehab.
man, even in the hospital, because not a lot. If you think about who's coming in just off of just thinking blindly, who's coming into the hospitals getting those mental health wise, it's people coming off the street. I'm gonna say 75%, and I'm pretty sure I feel like it's higher than that. Those the people who come and they just giving it to you so you could go out there and just don't
Edge
move
out.
basically
Yeah.
and get you up out of here.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So then, your access to insurance and things like that make a difference too in the
Yeah,
quality of your medical care because most of them don't have no insurance. So,
yeah,
like you said, they just dosing them up, vegging
yeah.
them out,
Right.
get up out of here.
Yeah.
We just trying to calm you down so we can
So you can be more easily controlled.
Yeah.
And that's a difference.
Man. Well, we are gonna wrap it up. But before I want you to shout out what you got going on, but before we do that, I want to end with what words of advice would you give someone right now if they could see this episode are struggling, a man that looks like you that's struggling with anything when it comes to their mental health and feel like they don't have no one to go to at all and they just got to sit there and just take it because they don't want to feel weak.
For one, you always got somebody to go to because you got the man upstairs. I ain't the church house guy. I ain't gonna tell you no verses out the Bible, but I do believe in higher power, and you gotta go to that first. And then, like I said, find your therapy, bro. Talk to
Yeah.
somebody. Talk to somebody. You can't go outside like that.
Let me ask this just as a counter. What can we do as women, as wives, as girlfriends, as sisters, as aunts, mothers? What can we do?
Keep on checking consistently. Even when we keep telling, yeah, I'm straight, man. Now leave me alone. All right, and but come right back. I know you said, but I'm just trying to keep on poking.
Okay.
Keep on poking because they need some people. People need to know that you care. Men need to know you care.
Mm.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, we appreciate you. Shout out what you got going on, where they can find you at.
Man, y'all already know YouTube. Check out the YouTube channel. Who Am I with T Murray? We in season 3, episode 2 right now. We got episode 3 on the way and many more. This year we're gonna be celebrating 3 years, rocking and rolling consistently. I'm definitely proud of that. Y'all know we've been building up this FTLR series forever. It's still coming. I know they think it ain't coming. We've been shooting a lot of videos. Father's Day, I'm dropping 2 for 1.
Yes.
Just to re-wake them up again. They think it's a game. So we got a 2-for-1 dropping on Father's Day, and just keep watching, man. They coming back to back, and the project coming. FTLRLO and For the Long Run.
That's what's up. That's
We
what's up.
appreciate you all the way from the ATL.
Yes, thank you for
Oh,
spending the
man,
block with us again since
already.
the first interview we did at the pre-roll the audio didn't come out. So thank you for taking the time to spend the block with us once again, brother.
So anytime, it's always an honor and a pleasure. I love what y'all doing. Keep doing what y'all doing. Keep grinding. Y'all know it's big love over here.
For sure.
Yes. All right. Well, we will
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Enjoy your weekend.
Already.
All right. Peace.
You already know. Got to say it. Let's rock.